All right, click the links for Odyssey, Bitchy, join the Patreon, subscribe, start with the Gab, Telegram, which definitely are free speech sites, so don't be shocked and amazed when you find free speech there. So what happened was, obviously in this current cultural Bolshevik soft revolution, because we still have the First and more importantly the Second Amendment, which is kind of slowing down this takeover of using social media to pressure people into compelled behavior and compelled ideas. And, politics means downstream from culture. We can't let this go on too much longer before it's better to force it to a head to realize oh yeah, the country really needs free speech. We can't, to give up free speech means you're just giving over one side the entire power to control the discourse, because it's magically the people on the left who are going to decide what is offensive to the marginalized, disenfranchised, systematically, harmfully oppressed, and just all these Bolshevik buzzword talking points. It's all this kind of Islamophobic nonsense. Those aren't real words. Those are control terms that the Bolsheviks, the globalists, used to manipulate the sheep. Oh. Yeah. You're just deflecting every time you raise those words. You're not addressing the underlying argument. Oh, well, don't punch down. Well, what if what you're calling down is putting forward bad ideas that need to be lampooned? Oh, no. Just don't do that. That's the idea, is they want those bad ideas put forward. Because the thing about the left is they deflect and censor and deplatform because they have bad ideas that won't withstand a vigorous debate. If they did, they would be the first ones to say, oh, let's have a talk about this. They don't, because they have bad ideas that have a long history of failure. Anyway, so what has been going on with Disney and a bunch of other companies is they're scrambling to edit out old episodes as the cultural Bolshevik envelope tightens, because every day that goes along, something new is politically correct and is a sacred cow, which, if you go far enough in the future, oh yeah, the country's all vegan now. Anything dealing with animals is going to be politically incorrect. Okay, so it's kind of a paralysis of analysis of nothing is going to get out there. So like I said, comedy can't survive this. You got to have free speech in comedy. There's really no way to have just a comedy that only goes in one direction. It is called propaganda. It's not funny unless someone is applying social pressure to make you say it's funny, which is what a lot of this confirmation bias, virtue signaling, echo chamber clapping, these comedy clubs where somebody on stage says something, it's not spontaneous laughter, it's conscious applause to say, oh yeah, you made fun of Trump, yeah, we're gonna applaud that, cool, thanks Whoopi Goldberg, hey, you made fun of Christians and white people, am I right? Yeah, I haven't heard that one before. That's genius. That's really giving me the unexpected punchline. It's not. That's why it's not funny. It's just confirmation bias. They just applaud. Anyway, so all these platforms are struggling to delete episodes or edit out episodes to the point of ridiculousness. There was a It's Always Sunny episode that they edited from 22 minutes down to 18 minutes to cut out 4 minutes of, I think the guy was in blackface or something. But at that point, the show is you've edited out so much of it that there's no point in watching any of it. You just delete the whole episode. But that's the specific issue, is that one of blackface is Hollywood has a long history of that, and it's most of the time, I think, been used to mock and belittle people, where you go, oh, you're not politically correct, so everything's on the table. So, well, I mean, that's up to the individual. Blackface obviously doesn't offend me because I'm not black, but I recognize it has a long history of just being purposely offensive. You're not attacking all directions with that. So Hollywood has a long history of that, in going way back, right, vaudeville and then early Hollywood, and they kind of got away from it, and then you see it creeps into shows, not this, because this guy did this thing. This was the one thing where they were laughing at the idea that Hollywood in current year was still doing something, because there was the other black guy on the show who thought he couldn't wrap his head around how this was happening. It was so bizarre. That's what kind of made it funny. He pulled it off. But then there's a lot of other stuff that Hollywood still does in kind of modern era. It doesn't make any sense to me, because they're not is everyone in the room laughing when you do something like this? I'm not saying don't poke fun poke fun in all directions for sure, but this is only making fun of one specific group in one specific way. It's a bit weird that Hollywood, who claims to be so woke, would continue to do this when it's just one little simple thing that it doesn't apply in all directions. Why would you continue to use it? Since Always Sunny in Philadelphia has done it several times, and they're far left people, and I think they've done like 4 episodes of that, and I think they went through and either edited them or just got rid of them in their entirety. But you look at them like, so why are you guys doing this? You're on the left. This was in 2006 when the show came on the air, because they think of themselves. The left wing does stuff like this because they're weird. Maybe because they think that they're the woke ones, and it's really hard to get into their heads to see how left-wing people could do this. I guess in their minds they probably think, oh, we're laughing at the people who are laughing at this. But yeah, is everyone who's watching it, do they get the joke? Because it doesn't seem like that's what they were doing in a lot of the episodes. I guess It's Always Sunny was doing, it's like, look how stupid these guys are. They're doing this in current year, and it's, I don't know, it seems weird. And there's been a bunch of other episodes of things being weird. And like I'm not PC obviously, and I single this one thing out because it's only applied to one group of people. Would you do? Though to be fair, they did yellow face, I think, and also I don't know, Latina face. So I guess in their credit, she played a character where she's an Asian character, and then she played a character I think where she was a Mexican character. So, all right, I guess I have to give them a pass on that, because they really did do it in all directions. But then they edited out World War II imagery, and it's like this story was Spider-Man dealing with the Red Skull, and that's the characters from World War II. Why would you edit? Oh, it's so triggering, it's so traumatizing to people. Maybe stop being a pussy if that kind of thing traumatizes you. And then, to be fair, this is a kid's show, I guess. I don't think I've ever seen it. And they went on a panty raid, which it doesn't seem that politically incorrect to me. It's like you went and you took underwear. There's nothing. It's not. I don't see why that would be so offensive, or why that would be so. Like, I don't see a reason for you to attach. Like, I think that's more of an old Hollywood trope, more so than it ever was something in actuality. Stealing underwears from the woman's dorm room back when the dorms were separated. So it's like that, like Revenge of the Nerds type of stuff. It's weird how they're pulling all this stuff, but the thing is, it never ends. Like, you're never going to end with this kind of stuff. But why would you think something like this was okay in the first place? Okay, I think I have it why they think it's okay for them to do this. I think because somehow in their mind they're trying to twist it to say they're making fun of, I don't know, like the conservatives who would do something like this. Like, they're clueless conservative. They're just these clueless conservative white people who would think something like this is okay. I think that's how they convolute it in their head. Because usually with the woke crowd, you have to look at their motivations, and their motivations are usually like, well, how do we F this one group of people? How do we insult whitey? So that usually kind of leads you to the right direction. Anyway, I thank God I don't watch TV. To watch TV, to watch a sitcom with a canned soundtrack, like I said, I think in the past 20 years, the only thing I thought was interesting was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I just downloaded the episodes, it's just like a long time ago, and seasons 1 to 9 were pretty funny, and then after that, I think they started, they did, I think season 10 was when they did a police shooting of a black kid. Like, oh, so that's the direction you're going in now. And then they did an episode where they were talking about pronouns, and they weren't making fun of the whole thing. They were, of course I would, a trans woman in the woman's bathroom, of course that's fine. It's like, did I just get a lecture from It's Always Sunny? This isn't funny. This is a comedy show. But I don't know, maybe people on the left still think it's like that kind of stuff is okay, but that was, oh God, I never want to see another episode ever again. The first 1 to 9 seasons, hey, you guys did a pretty decent job. You made something that was legitimately funny. Now, I'm not saying it's overrated. People go, oh, it was the best show on TV at the time, like the first few episodes, the first few seasons. It wasn't. It's just that everything else was so bad that it makes it looks brilliant because everything else was so bad. But it's really not. It was like, yeah, it's funny. It's the bare minimum in humor. It's not that politically incorrect. It's kind of pseudo politically incorrect. They're still not going too crazy. It's just everything around it sucked. Like, it was horrible suck. Where like, if this is the mainstream comedy, these kind of like Saturday Night Live far left wing, just whack job actors, where it's like everything's just a left wing lecture, then yeah, It's Always Sunny is gonna look like Shakespeare in comparison. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on this episode.